Welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube, and we are back. Hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day, and we are back with another episode.
As you already know, my name is Josh.
My name is Deandra.
It's your boy Cam, and this is Takeover.
Yo, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Poker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need a couple.
Starting off with the NBA, Los Angeles Lakers forward Anthony Davis has re-aggravated his Achilles tendon and will miss time. Deandra, how much are you concerned with the Lakers' future during this season and the postseason with Anthony Davis getting injured?
Well, obviously the Lakers are a well put together team, especially they went in the offseason and they really did their thing to acquire better pieces. And obviously in the regular season, you know Bron is going to carry the load. He's going to make sure the flow keeps going. So I believe in the regular season, at worst, they'll slip maybe to the 4th or 5th seed, at worst. But as far as championship aspirations, I feel like they need Anthony Davis, and I feel like without him, their championship aspirations kind of dwindle, especially when you look at all of the talent and the teams that are making runs in the Western Conference. But however, my biggest concern in this situation is Anthony Davis, because obviously he tweaked his Achilles in the finals, and he had a short offseason, so he didn't have the proper time to actually rest. And then he missed 2 games because of the Achilles tweak, and then he missed a couple more games because of the calf strain. And the situation that makes me think of this was Kevin Durant when he was in the finals. Obviously, it started with a calf strain and then it turned into an Achilles injury. So one thing, especially for Anthony Davis, a player who relies on his ability to work in the post, he needs that athleticism. And if I'm the Lakers, I do not want to bring him back too early, so it could aggravate it even more. So that's my concern as far as this situation goes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and to my esteemed co-hosts, I'm going to break this down for you quite simply. Is this a worry for the Lakers this season? Absolutely not. You want to know why? Because 20 out of the 30 teams in the NBA are going to have a chance at making the playoffs with the introduction of the new play-in tournament. 2/3 of the league has a chance to make the playoffs. Will the Lakers fall out of playoff contention? No. LeBron could go down, and they probably would have built up enough of a pillow for them to be able to survive. And the fact of the matter is the Lakers have the depth to deal with this in the regular season. You know, they have Markieff Morris to play the 4. They have Montrezl Harrell. They still have Marc Gasol, man, in the 5. They have Taylor Horton-Tucker, who can play almost anywhere. So if we're talking about just this season, I mean, like, LeBron could cut back on his minutes and they would still find a way to be like the 4th or 5th seed, as you said. And the best part about this regular season, because they built up such a cushion, they can just kind of let him sit, you know? They can hold him out for an extended period of time, make sure he gets healthy. Like, they don't have to rush him back. The whole Kevin Durant thing, I see where you're going with it. But Kevin Durant was rushing back because they were in the playoffs. And it was clear that the Dubs were not going to win without him coming back. So he felt like he needed to get back in order to bring the team a win. In this case, AD doesn't have to rush back because it's the regular season, the Lakers have the depth, and they have the best player on the planet, LeBron James.
Kind of piggybacking off what you guys said, I think this could maybe help the Lakers maybe in the long run if Anthony Davis is able to come back. As far as what they're going to do in the regular season, I think LeBron is the perfect guy for this situation. You look at what he's done in Cleveland. He makes the most of his opportunities and the teammates he has. So I expect guys like Kuz, Montrezl Harrell, and Dennis Schroeder to step up to the plate like they've been doing all year. And this is a guy who's averaging 25, 8, and 8. I think those numbers are going to implode over the next couple months. And I think he'll just be able to
explode.
Yeah, I said what?
You said implode, which would be like it collapses in on itself.
Fine. They're gonna explode. He'll be a better player down the stretch. There's nobody worried about you. Anyway, he'll be a better player down the stretch. I believe his other teammates will pick up too. And then as far as the playoffs go, I feel like if Anthony Davis isn't even 100%, I still think they'll be able to float through the playoffs. Maybe in the Western Conference Finals they may get a slack, maybe get a little redirection, but as long as he's 70% of himself, I think the Lakers will be smooth sailing. But I think this injury does open up the window for teams like the Jazz, the Clippers, and the Blazers, and especially the Brooklyn Nets on the other side too, because if the Lakers aren't 100%, there's a crack in the armor, everyone has a chance to go out.
It's funny you mentioned the Utah Jazz, because if I remember correctly, there was an episode that we did about a month and a half to 2 months back where some person on this show, I'm not going to name names, said that the Jazz could go to the finals this year.
They won't.
And they've won 18 of 19.
They will though. It's
Huh.
cute though.
I was right again.
Hot start.
That's crazy.
We'll see if they finish there.
First of all, you said you're right. We're still in the
The
middle of the
All-Star
season.
break didn't happen.
I predicted
what?
the breakout. Everything I said, I said they was gonna be good, and they was good.
It's kind of crazy how you predict basketball and can't even play the sport. To be perfectly honest,
Huh?
that's crazy.
Don't-
you can't even
Cam,
play the sport.
don't go there, buddy.
Really?
Don't go there. We're gonna go just so you don't say anything that you're gonna regret later.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch to the NFL
sure?
now. I'm very sure.
You sure?
We're gonna switch to the NFL now.
Because I mean,
and we're gonna
last time
start
we
talking
played,
about.
you wasn't there though.
We're gonna talk about the
All
Seattle
right.
Seahawks.
Okay.
And Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is on record saying that he is frustrated with the team's inability to provide a functioning offensive line for him. After these comments, guys, do you think that Russell Wilson should want out of Seattle?
I think the answer to that question is astounding. Yes. I think Russell Wilson is a great QB, but I mean, he gets sacked a little bit too much for me. You think last year he got sacked 51 times. This year he gets sacked 47 times. And the blatant shot at his team wasn't even the big point. The blatant shot at the offensive lineman wasn't the big point. I think Russell Wilson is scared. He is scared of the team in LA because of the monsters they have on the other side. You can't block Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and over the top they have Jalen Ramsey. And then with the addition of Matthew Stafford, I feel like he's in a James Harden situation. I don't know if my team's good enough to beat that team. I don't know if my team is going to be able to surge through this NFC that gets tougher and tougher every year, and we can't play defense. I think Russell Wilson was a very sheltered quarterback when he got in the league. He was protected by LOB. For the kids who don't know who that is, that's what the secondary with Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, probably the best secondary ever assembled. And he was sheltered by those things. So I think he's tired of getting hit, and he's looking at Tom Brady winning these rings and how Tom Brady barely gets touched. He wants to play for a longer time. And this offensive line, if it doesn't get better, they're not allowing him to do those things. So in the long run, if the offensive line doesn't get better, I think for sure Russell Wilson should get out because the team in LA is coming for him.
Well, obviously, like you said, he's frustrated with the amount of times he's been hit, and he wants to be more involved with the Seahawks roster decisions as well. And all of the complaints that he made are fair complaints. I mean, he's been sacked 374 times in his career. And in my opinion, I wouldn't have come out publicly and said it. That's my only issue because you're a leader on your team. And you have players on the offensive line that listen to you and look up to you. And for them to hear that, I think that also takes a toll as well. However, when you're playing, like you said, when you're playing in a very competitive division, and especially you look at the AFC who's getting more and more competitive every single year, and you're going against teams, like you said, Aaron Donald and the Rams, and the O-line isn't the best in the NFL, two things either can happen. You're going to want to go to a different situation, or you're going to need some help on the offensive line. And I look at players like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, that they have say-so in their organizations, and they can say certain things, and they have say in the roster as well. So Russell Wilson, a player who has won the team a Super Bowl, and he's always in the MVP voting as well, why shouldn't he have the right to say something for his team as well? So yeah, if he wants to leave, he should be able to leave.
Both of y'all are wrong here.
Okay.
Like, absurdly wrong, and here's why. Everybody always thinks about the situation that the player's in, and that's why you should demand a trade, right? So I agree with what y'all are saying. The Seahawks have
So
absolutely...
did you say we were wrong and then agree with what we were saying?
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me finish my point before you
Just
interrupt.
making sure.
So rude.
Just making sure how that works.
So rude. So, the reasons for why he wants out, I understand. The Seahawks have never been able to put together a functional offensive line for him. That's true. I agree with that. And I can see what you mean with the whole personnel thing, even though, I mean, most of the reason that they won the Super Bowls back in the day were because of LOB, and he was a good quarterback to help move them along, but more often than not, it was Marshawn Lynch or the defense that was really the engine of the offense. Once he became the engine, they fell down the pecking order just a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, if you're saying that he should demand a trade, where's he going to go? Why would you demand it? Like, is there a situation out there that is better than Seattle right now? Seattle has a relatively decent defense with some solid pieces over there. They've got a
decent. They were the worst. For the half of the season, they were the worst.
I said
defense.
pieces. They still have Bobby Wagner.
But they're not a good defense.
They're not a good defense right now, but they have the pieces for it, and
Okay.
you can just add a few, and it becomes better.
Okay.
Sure. But even just besides that, on offense, you still have DK Metcalf, you still have Tyler Lockett, you still have Chris Carson, you still have Rashad Penny. you have good pieces on offense, and you have a great head coach in Pete Carroll, who's proven he can win multiple different ways. And if you look at where else he would have to go, teams that are looking for a quarterback currently, you have the Carolina Panthers, who are still young and probably are looking to take a young quarterback, and they also technically don't even have to look for anyone because they have Bridgewater. The Bears, I don't know why you would ever want to go to the Bears. They suck, and they would be a worse organization than Seattle. The Broncos, they're unproven, they're young. We don't know if that young core is ever going to actually be anything. The Colts, I think they're getting Carson Wentz at this point. They're the only team that wants Carson Wentz. The Pats, they're probably going to pick somebody. The Saints, question mark, because they do have Jameson Taysom. And then the Jets and Washington, who are looking to draft because they're young. So I understand why he would want out, but there's no reason why he should want out on top of that, because there's nowhere else better for him. The pasture always looks greener from the other side of the fence, but when you look at it from 3D perspective, there's nowhere that's better than Seattle.
But I saw it just in the Super Bowl. All the weapons in the world, if you don't have time to throw, it is a different ballgame. And
so who's going to have time to throw on those other teams? They have good offensive
I
lines?
think that most of the teams you just named have better offensive lines than Seattle does.
But so you have better offensive lines, but do you have the weapons?
I think, but
You're
I
trading
think
one for the other.
Wilson can make one. He makes plays.
You're trading one for the other.
He makes plays for the others, though.
You're trading one for
He
the
makes
other.
plays for everyone
You're trading
else.
one for the other.
I guess,
Does he make
but I
plays for everybody else, or does DK and Tyler Lockett make the plays? We don't know.
We don't know. You don't know.
We don't know.
So we're questioning if Russell Wilson.
Listen,
makes
all I've
plays.
seen is comparisons from DK to Megatron. I'm just saying.
I think those are.
If you're gonna make those
horrible.
crazy comparisons, you better be ready to accept the
We've seen
blame.
plays that Russell Wilson.
I'm not questioning Russell Wilson's ability. He's the top 5 quarterback in the NFL
just did,
right now.
You said
But
DK.
I'm just saying we don't know. And all I'm arguing is there's not a situation out there that is
Josh,
better
wait,
than Seattle.
hold on, wait. No, okay, you
There's not a
have not
situation
making
out there.
sense this whole entire segment. You are agreeing but disagreeing. You're knowing but no. What's going on? Is your mind made up?
I agree with your reasoning for why he would want out, but I don't
Right.
think he should want out. Simply because there's not a better situation outside
I'm
of
talking
the
about what
offensive
you
line.
just said. Though.
What did I just say?
You said we don't know if he's making we don't know if he's making those plays, but I'm not questioning his ability to make plays.
That's a good point. I did kind of contradict myself. But either way, I'm just saying if we put him in a system where he has less weapons, we don't know what that's going to do to him.
Okay.
Because you can make we saw with Patrick Mahomes, you can make the greatest play, make the greatest throw, but if it hits the dude in the face mask,
It's a bad comparison though, because I mean,
Didn't have time
you
to throw.
think he didn't have time to throw.
okay, buddy. Okay.
It's cool. All right, guys. Next. That's gonna wrap up our episode today. That was kind of a quick one. Do you guys have anything to say?
I'm good.
You quiet, Josh?
I said all I
Got a
needed to
little
say.
heated.
I said all I know. Oh, we've had worse on the show. It's nothing.
Anything?
Small
you
things
know?
to a giant.
Oh.
Giants. But all right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Takeover out.
Yeah, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance.
Good episode, guys.
On everything it was. Bro.
Shut up, Kim.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
He was
You
talking,
mad because I told you the truth about what happened?
he was talking crazy the whole time, man.
I was talking crazy?
Listen, I agree with you that I contradicted myself, but the whole shit about, you can't, you're better than me at
Rewind that.
basketball.
Your parents probably gonna watch this. Is you heard what you're saying?
Yes, man, it's okay.
You good? You good
I
with
can
that?
explain it to them.
Okay, alright.
They understand. They think you're annoying
annoying
too, which
Huh?
is fair. They think you're annoying too, but either way. The
I
whole
mean,
thing
it's
you're
okay,
talking,
but you know what's
I
crazy?
beat you
I bet one time.
Okay, how many times have you beat me?
3.
Once? I think you beat me once, Cam.
Once?
You're adding games, bruh. This is like Goldberg's streak where he went from I've won 100 games
One
to...
time. I've only beat you one time.
I
We're
feel
gonna
like
cap.
you've only beat me once. Maybe
Oh, look,
twice,
Josh,
but there's
I'm
no way
so,
you beat
I'm
me
so
3.
confident I can beat you. I'm gonna look. We're gonna edit this at the. Probably, look, is the camera still on? It is. Look, we're gonna edit this at the end of the episode, and I bet your dad in the comment section would tell you I'd beat you.
No
One
way.
of you won. He'd tell
No
you.
way.
He'd tell you that.
I don't think you would.
Look, keep it real.
I don't think you would.
He's not. He can't win. Okay.
Nah, Kim,
You
prove
can't-
it. Back
you
your
can't
words
win.
up then. Back
Win.
it up, back it up, back
Win.
it up. Next Saturday.
Win.
Next Saturday.
All right.
Meet me
say
at
no
the park.
word. Say the word.
Meet me at the park.
Say the word.
It's over. You just dug your grave, buddy. You're going to get embarrassed in front of the dozens and dozens of Takeover
That's
fans.
fine.
It's tough.
Look, as long as you're an Atlanta fan, I have a chance. I might spot you saying.
Go for it. Go for it. Do it at your own risk. I will not say no to an advantage like that. That's an idiotic advantage.
Yeah, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Not that holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need